It's days like this where I wish we had a longer intro. 16 seconds just isn't long enough. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble podcast match reaction. Celtic 3, Rangers 2. At least two goals absolutely gifted. We played okay. It was a 50-50 game, in my opinion. We've got a goal ruled off, which should never have been ruled off. I'm sure we'll get into that as well. But at the end of the day, at the end of the 90 minutes, it's Celtic 3, Rangers 2, Celtic 12 points ahead. The league without doubt is over, if it wasn't already, and we need to try and move on and win the Scottish Cup. That's all that's really left for us to play for. Today I'm joined back with Robert and James. Robert, how are you?
Just scunnered, really, because I thought first half we were actually all right with it. MD really standing out. I thought Raskin was really good first half, but the MD really standing out. I thought we were all right, and then second half, as you mentioned, individually. So, to be honest, more questions than answers today. If that makes sense, it's just it's not a nice one.
No, it's not nice, James. It's never nice to get beat off a game, let's be honest. And I suppose it's one of the ones, would it have hurt more if they had just ran over the top of us and absolutely scudded us? Or does it hurt more the fact that we practically gave them the 3 points?
The latter, mate. I think it's sickening, mate, that two stupid mistakes and we've just gifted them the match. As you say, it was 50-50. I thought we were all right. We were standing up, we were getting into tackles, and then they just gift them two stupid mistakes. And if anything, for me, it just shows that Beale now knows that he's got a job in his hands now. If he didn't already know that he'd get rid of some of the deadwood that's in that squad now.
That's what you were talking about, Robert. It just kind of opens up more questions than answers, doesn't it? It's a strange one because we played okay. They didn't play well. We played okay. So yeah, it does kind of give more questions than answers. I'm loath to discuss it, but we have to because it frustrates the life out of me, and I don't want to. I don't want to get too much more angry than what I already am. But we did take the lead for Alfredo Morelos, and then quickly it got ruled out. Can you please explain to me in any way, shape, or form why that's not a goal?
No, well, there's no justification for it because you can clearly see they're both at it, and the ball breaks to Morelos, sticks his leg, it goes in the back of the net, and like you can understand if Clancy's given it, that's fine. He's seen it, he's given it, but then it's a clear and obvious error. It's got to go to the VAR. And for who was in the VAR? Was it Nick Walsh? They said was in the VAR. For Nick Walsh to uphold that decision is just baffling for me. And it was done really quickly as well. Like there was no doubt about it. He was siding with the referee. And I was with McCoist on it. I listened to him. He says the way we are in VAR in this country is an absolute ready. And it's a shame really because we were really in the ascendancy at that point. I thought we started the game really, really well, and to get a foothold in terms of getting a goal up would have been, well, you don't know where the game would have went then, do you? It's all ifs and buts, but certainly a baffling decision, and one that will need to be needs to get highlighted really because it's not good enough.
No. Quick question for Scott Rennie, just very quickly. Why was my membership cancelled, Martin? YouTube refunded me. We've moved over to Patreon. The link for that is in the description. And I thought it was only right that the people got refunded because our memberships were cancelled. So that's why that got done. So all the stuff you got on YouTube and more is now over on Patreon. Link is in the description. Yeah, James, I'm sitting there and I'm baffled and I'm ready to write a lot of nasty stuff on social media, but I stopped myself. And the one thing I did write is that now, look, you can shove your conspiracy theories right up your ass.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. Because we're told that VAR was a Protestant-made thing, apparently. You know what I mean? That we only favoured one team. That day, it bamboozles me to think that Nick Walsh, as he says to Clancy, go and have a look at it. Go and have a look at it at least. You're the man that's in the middle. You're in charge. It's up to you whether you give the goal or no. Go and have a watch. Go and watch the screen because it's there. And you know it's bad when even Andy Walker is saying it, that there was nothing wrong with it and it was a goal. And you just think our refereeing standard in this country is appalling.
It's something that we spoke about, Robert, before the game, that we don't want it to get to a point where we're on here during the reaction talking about referees, because it just makes it seem as if you're trying to make some kind of excuse. And I'm not using it as an excuse, because we had plenty of time then to get our heads up and go on and do something different. It's just the referees again have spoiled what could have been a fantastic game, not just with that, but with incidents further that we will talk about. But that's a massive point in the game. We've went there, we've got no supporters there. They're playing really well. We're playing really well. It's set up to be an absolutely cracking game. And then you get a ridiculous... It's not even as if it was a close decision to make.
The thing is, though, Martin, it's no something new, is it? Like, we've... Whether you're a Rangers fan or a Celtic fan, you will have referees that you do not want refereeing your games. These sort of types of decisions, are not new. Even since the introduction of VAR, there's been some really bad decisions. So I don't think it's like groundbreaking stuff today. It's just as James said, why not go and have a look at it? Like, it just the speed of how quickly Nick Walsh agreed with it, which is like, what's going on here? Like, you can't have watched that properly to have agreed with that decision. And then, as James says there, you've got Andy Walker jumping on, like, agreeing with you. You know you're in trouble then, don't you? But like you say, I just think that could have changed the game. However, we don't get it. You've got to just sort of bury that and move on. And to be fair, for that point, Celtic then seem to go on and they seem to take charge of the game for the next sort of 10, 15 minutes. So I don't think it helped us.
No. £10 super chat for your Led Zapaldo. Apart from the obvious issues today in the YouTube meme defending, I felt the main underlying problem was the performance of our front three. They were anonymous the whole match with no goal threat. James, Ryan Kent, for me, I'm not interested in if he runs well, if he drags players away. If he can't do anything with the ball, he's no use to us. He's really no use to us. I thought he was appalling today. I can't. Not a single moment in that game sticks out to me. Something that he done well. It looked to me as if the boy was just hiding, just anonymous.
I've got to agree there, mate. I was on last night, and I basically says, no, I would keep him about because of what he does off the ball. But obviously, he triggered me. I was sitting back today watching that, and every time he gets the ball, you're expecting him to do something, but he was either falling at his own feet. The ball wasn't gone for him. He just, as you said, I don't think he looked interested, and I think he's another one. I think he's away in the summer. I just think he's got that I can't be bothered type of attitude.
Listen, I said this before. I think it was on a members show. I said it, and I says, I don't care if it's Kent, Morelos, Goldson, Tav. I don't care who it is now. If the players are in this 100%, Robert, and they're no up for the fight, they can go. I don't care who it is. And for me now, Kent, more so than Morelos, by the way, Kent can go for me. I've no defence left for him whatsoever. I don't care how much he cost.
No, listen, I don't see him staying on if that's the sort of his attitude today. His attitude today wasn't great, and it was summed up in the end with the sort of putting a 1-2 Morelos for a bit in Celtic's 18-yard box. There's somebody getting a shot away. But the trouble is, Martin, like what you're saying there about, you don't care if it's goals and Tavernier, and I share that sentiment to a degree, but I think Kerr said it numerous times on here, like, if we start doing that, we're not going to have any players next season because we've just got too many guys to get ready, and you're not going to be able to do it in one window.
No, you can't do it in one window, but if it's done over 2 or 3, I don't care. If next season is another season that we've got these same players putting in these same performances, giving away stupid goals, not competing, what's the point?
No, I agree with you. Like, what is I've played this building up to this game. Like, you need players to beat Celtic. Like, that's the be all and end all. I think, big players at both clubs make their names in this fixture, and our guys, Tavernier's done pretty well. I think, obviously, bar the goals today, I don't think he was outstanding, but he got the goal, so we'll say no more about it. But I just think you do need players to beat Celtic, and if you've not got players to beat Celtic, then they need to be moved on, because then what's the point? Like, that is the be all and end all here. If you don't beat Celtic, you don't win anything.
Mm-hmm. No, I think more than anything today, I think Bill's had his eyes open now to what he needs and who's here for the fight. Because that today just looked.
I would hope, James, that he's already had his eyes open before the day.
I've no more than the day, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
If that's to me, just I could, and then we're obviously going on about Tillman again. I thought the boy was anonymous again today in a big match. As I
well, James,
said, I was
I
on the
wanted
fence.
just to say, who is here for the fight then? On that, who would you say is here for the fight? Watching that today, like
I would say I thought Raskin was good.
aye.
Mhm.
I thought he was good in a way. He looked as if he was wanting to get into tackles. He was wanting to hang me. I thought Jack had an alright game. I thought he wasn't the worst. He certainly wasn't the best. So I think the two centre halves. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just thinking off the top of my head because of the two mistakes they've made. I don't think. I always said that we should never assign John Suter anyway because I don't think. I think he found his level at Hearts. I don't think. I'm a great believer of. I know you can obviously get good players from these clubs in Scotland, but I think if you're buying people for Hearts, Dundee, and Hibs, you're going to end up playing like them. And I just think Rangers should be looking and aiming higher than these players.
I think that's true, maybe 90% of the time. But there is gems that you can bring into your football club. And Robert, yes, John Sutton made a horrendous mistake, an absolutely horrendous mistake. But overall, I actually thought he was okay. I thought he played okay. I wasn't watching the game terrified every time they went forward with John Suter at the back, if that makes sense.
No, I thought both centre halves were all right up until the point they made the mistakes, and then obviously it becomes a mentality thing. But even after Davies made his error, he made I think a decent recovery. I don't know if it was Kyogo or someone else, but he actually came back and played some more right stuff after that. But it's one of them. Like you do, Connor Goldson's the bedrock. He's been the centre half first pick for a long time, and I know he's nobody's cup of tea and he gets some stick, but you take him out the team and you see what happens. So again, but we see if we start doing this, see we start running through the team as if you have a busy summer, because what do you do? Like Leon King's out the picture, Hollander's going to be going back to Sweden probably and trying to read boys. So you've got to do something with them. And somebody in the comments said, "Oh no!" Somebody in the chat, and it was Lee in the chat said, "Shoot Davies to the moon or the sun, somewhere in space." And I'm thinking,
I don't get that massive criticism for Ben Davies, James. Look, he was horrendous for their goal, absolutely horrendous, and he does have that in him, right? I'll give you that. But I actually think he's quite a good defender. I think he's really good at his job. Albeit that'll be difficult for people to hear and people to listen to, and they'll be screaming at their TVs right now, Martin, shut up, you've no idea what you're talking about. But in general, I do think he's actually a really good defender.
I do agree with you on that, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe at the moment, you know, with the hot heat on or whatever, it's kind of, I don't know if I'm get blinkered in or whatever, but I do agree with you that he has been solid. And again, he obviously had a new defensive partnership today to try and understand. And I know it's hard. You can't I know because Golson and Davies have been excellent together this season. And I know it's hard to try and get into the way that the other guy's going to be working with you. But again, Golson, for me, he gets a lot of slating of people. But for me, he is a bedrock of that defence, and he just seems to calm everything down. I mean, he's not there, we miss him, so.
We do. Bebop Boop, £5 super chat, thank you very much. And yeah, I know why Robert's laughing. That's my favourite name. I love that name. People will be looking to have a go at Suter after that today. By that mistake, he was impeccable for his first start in months. He'll come again. And James, that's something that we have to remember. You know, he's not been thrown back into the team, but I suppose he kind of has in a way that he's come back into that team. He's come into a defence that he's not played in a lot. And like I say, bar the mistake for the goal, I don't think he was impeccable, but I thought he played well enough. There wasn't any serious issue with him.
I get that. But myself, I just think that we as Rangers should be. I've grew up watching guys like Richard Gough, Terry Butcher. Guys,
the days are gone, James. The days are gone.
Mate. I know, Paul. And I know try to find day type of players again. But you'd folk that would jump into tackles and put their bodies on the line, put their heads in where folk when they put their feet in. And then you've got defenders that are jumping out the road. Even at that Kyogo goal, you see Border Barishuk turning his whole body away from it, and you're thinking, stone up straight, and there's a chance the ball's going to hit half you.
I know. Robert, okay. So, we scored a goal that gets chopped off. The heads seem to drop, which I suppose is slightly understandable, but you want your team to get right back up. You're the better team. You're playing well. You're putting the pressure on. You want to go. And then we see a goal scored against us that we have seen a million times.
It was, to be honest, we looked a bit ragged once O'Reilly takes that touch and he steps into the box. Tavernier's too far off him as far as I'm concerned. I think he should be a bit closer to him. And then Kyogo's got a lot of time to take a touch and spin before he puts it into the net. So, listen, as you say, it's no something new for us. To be honest, I've got to say I credit them because I kind of thought Heeds would go down after that, and that would be it. It would be 2-3. That was my gut feeling. But to get back into the game, and I'm sure we'll talk about the goal in a minute, but to get back into the game, credit to them. I thought, as I say, in the first half, Raskin seemed to. I don't say this lightly, but I was just seeing wee glimpses of wee Barry Ferguson, even like when he was getting involved with McGregor as well. And I just thought he was finding time in tight spaces. He was getting his away. He must have played Tillman through 4 or 5 times. And Tillman just seems to, I don't know, no slow the game down, but it seems like he waits an eternity for the ball to get to him before he starts travelling again with it. So, no, as I say, I just felt that they responded well. And to go into half-time level was really good for us, because I thought we could have went in maybe 2 or 3 down after the first one goes in.
No, it was huge. It was huge. Just led Sapaldo back in again. Another £10 super chat. Thank you, Led. Unnecessary pressure put on the midfield and back four due to poor front three. Morelos was in a left back position for their second goal. We could have made up for the mistakes if we put away chances, but we'll come on to that because the chances that's a massive point. We'll come on to that more as we talk about the second half. Led, yeah, James. It's just to get that goal right at the end of the first half, and look to Robert's point as well. After they scored their goal, they were putting the pressure on, they were controlling the tempo and stuff. But we dealt with it. We absolutely dealt with it. And then we got a free kick, which I'm not 100% sure if it's a free kick, but by the by, or was that for the last minute one? My mind's gone. I can't remember. But anyway, we got a free kick, and Tav. Boom. That's that. And I don't think Tav overall play was great, but what he was doing, I suppose, kind of well. He was staying more defensive, looking after Maeda. He was terrified of his pace. I felt he kind of dealt with him okay. But it takes away from Tav's overall play. But he gives you that free kick. He gives you a way back into the game.
Aye, no. Like I say, I thought we were comfortable, and I think the overriding factor for me was I don't think Celtic ever cut us open at any time they were flying down the wing as, Jota was ripping 4 and 5 apart and slipping balls in. I don't think we were under any type of pressure at all that normally happens when you go to Parkhead. We get the goal at him at the right time. We should have been in there, heads about, you know what I mean? Heads up. We came out in the second half, and I thought we started really well again in the second half. We were on it, we were pressing them down, we were shutting things down, and then it just comes down to 2 stupid mistakes, and the game's there.
It is. The game's absolutely there. And in the second half, James, we came out of traps. We came out of traps flying. We controlled the tempo. We controlled the play. They were on the back foot. They were looking worried, and we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. As
you say, it was just as if we couldn't find the right pass to the right people. Then the one that are playing 1-2s in the box, you're just thinking, scalp it. Just somebody, because it can ricochet off somebody and fly in. You never know. But
Morelos should have took that first time. He should have just touched his foot, bang across the goalie. He had another one. A Bonner puts in a great. It might have been Bonner. No, in fact, it was Tavernier puts in a great ball. Morelos put it to him. He put in a great ball, and Morelos should have scored that.
Mm-hmm.
I just fancy me to put that away.
And then there's a one for the corner kick as well. When Morelos, he kind of spins off and gets a head in it. I think it hits off either a defender on the line or something.
Do you know that chance for the cross ball, James, for Morelos, that's got to be a goal. You've got to score that. There's no
score that.
Yeah, and it brings us on to the point that we need a number 9. We need just an absolute goal-scoring poacher.
James in the comments, £10 super chat. Thank you, James. McLaughlin passed it to them for the goal in September. Morelos passed it to them for the goal at Ibrox. And now our centre backs are assisting Celtic players. Suicidal decisions every time we play them. And you cannot argue with that, Robert. You cannot. Like I say, look, we come out, we should score. We're the better team. We're playing well. We're looking confident. And then Ben Davies, what?
Aye, what? Like, the clearance, obviously, he's undercooked the clearance, the first one. So then he thinks, right, I need to make up for that. Maybe he should have just held his position because there was, I don't know if it was Borna that was just maybe behind Jota. Somebody was over there anyway. I don't know if he maybe should have just held his position, but he goes for it anyway. So if you've committed to going for it, you've got to win that ball. You've got to win that ball. And it's a real half-hearted attempt at a header. It was odd. It was really odd. And then it sort of,
just smash it out for a corner if you're worried. Just smash it out.
Take Jota away, you. Take him away, you. And ends up back in play behind him. And at that point, well, Kyogo doesn't mess about in their positions, does he?
No.
I'll be glad to see the back end. See if the rumours are true, by the way, and he's away in the summer. I'll be glad to see the back end because he's absolute nightmare in the penalty box.
He is. No, he's a very, very good striker. I don't think you can't sit here and lie.
No,
you've got to be honest. But James, at that point, you're just. Do you know? I was sitting with my missus, and my missus is saying, "Oh, we're playing really well." And I went, "But you know what happens if we don't take our chances? They'll go up the park and score." I wasn't expecting it to be from a mistake from Ben Davies, but in that kind of manner, because that was like a dagger in the heart, that man.
Aye, no, it was like I say. Obviously, I'm just my hot head about the scatter guns out. I want everybody out the door and all that. But obviously, when I sit down later on, I'll have a different opinion, and I probably have it now. It's just 2 stupid mistakes. You're not expecting it for Davies for the way that he's been playing. You just go and take it, clear the ball, and get back in, regroup for the corner kick, and then clear the ball again. It's no. But again, as Robert says, he's probably thought, right, I need to go and win this, and then doesn't he go and do what he's meant to do? No,
he doesn't. It's just pure frustration, Robert, because in the first half, Carter Vickers done a really short back pass.
He did, aye.
That Morelos should have got onto, but didn't. The defender made it. And then in the second half, Suter does a horrendous back pass. McGregor's getting nowhere near that at 41. Absolutely nowhere near that. And it's a tap-in for Jota.
Mm-hmm. Aye, and see, to be honest, I think Curry once put in that it was McGregor's fault. I can't believe that. That's a shocking.
No, I don't think any goalkeeper's getting near that, but certainly not at 41.
No, and it's blind, and it's way out of position. He's just had a real horrendous moment, hasn't he? And he'll know that himself. But I don't. Obviously, it just doesn't help to go 3-1 down. You're then really chasing the game. You put your teammates under pressure that wasn't really needed. And obviously you've took the gloss off your own performance, really, because you wasn't doing too badly, as you've said. Nothing to really moan about until that point. So, just silly decision making at the back at times. And I think that the fullbacks didn't play brilliant either. Like, but apart that block, I think Kugel was offside in the end, but that block for Bournemouth was probably the best thing I've seen him do in months.
Yeah.
To be honest. I know he gets the ball in for Tavernier. It was a really nice floated ball in, and Tavernier gets it at the back stick. But I just feel like, again, I could just pick players and start swapping them out and swapping them in, and I'll be here all day, because we've kept maybe guys too long. Obviously, Tavernier gets his 100th goal, and that's absolutely fine. I've got no qualms about that at all. But it's just.
I know, but Robert, just on that point, now I suppose with the remaining games in the league, we know the league's done. The league's over. It doesn't matter. They can lose 2 games now, and we still need to beat them, right? So the league's done. Right. Now is a chance for the manager to play who he really wants to play, who really wants to be here, and leave certain people out, surely.
Well, aye. So what you're getting at is what we might see Redvan for the rest of the campaign. We might see McCrory. We might see, I don't know, who else have we got there? I know Devine will be slipped out of it a wee bit, but I know what you're saying. That might be the case. But Michael Beale, when it did cut to him, looked he looked deep in thought, man. It's like he wasn't very animated at all. I don't know what he said after the match, because we're on here, but it's you've got. How do you? My question is, right, how do you get them going for this semi-final? Because past performances haven't been great. The day was all right without it being brilliant. You've got guys now with psychological scars now when they go to play them now because they've made really, really bad errors.
And by the way, on that point, you don't want that to start happening to Raskin and Cantwell. You don't want them to start getting that inferiority complex against them, being in too many games where they lose. Because you don't want to carry that on with the players you're then going to bring in, and you've had Raskin and Cantwell involved in 3 or 4 old firms where they've been beat.
Well, you look at Cantwell today, wasn't he great at all?
He wasn't there, no. He wasn't there.
And I mean, he's shown so much promise over the last few games, like picking the ball up deep. His recoveries have been great. His link-up plays have been fantastic. Really try to make things happen. I can't mind him doing anything in Oak today. Anything.
No, I'm the same.
It was an off game, James, for Cantwell. That's about the best you can say in it.
Aye, wholeheartedly. I don't know if he was trying too hard and things weren't coming off for him. Whether the game just flew past him without him, you know what I mean? Because better players than him have came to Rangers, and the Old Firm games just flew past him without them even noticing. But it's obviously a sore one today, man.
Yeah, it is. I'm just going to Curry, Martin. Whatever happened to everyone having an opinion? But hey, it's Curry, so I'm Sean. Curry, what you on about?
No, because I said to him that he'd said that goal was McGregor's fault. Listen, mate, I'm not coming for you. I'm just talking about the point you made. He then also went on to say that it was the same when he said last night that Goldson was out. Listen, you were right about Goldson. Bravo. Curry, I've got no problem with you here. Look, virtual hug, mate. Let's have a virtual hug. Keep your comments coming. They're great. That's what we want.
We do get a second goal a wee bit late on. Too late on, if we're being brutally honest. Again, and Robert, James Tavernier makes it 100 goals for Rangers.
Aye, listen, I just wish it was a better day for him, because I feel, how can I put this? I don't feel right sitting here praising something after a defeat to Celtic. So maybe for another day we can celebrate that. Because I'm not even gonna lie, I've had a message for a Celtic supporting compadre of mine that's down the road. What?
A Celtic supporting person that you know.
Aye, he's been saying, celebrating 100 goals when you've just been beat. So I'm kind of in that mode that I don't want to really celebrate that when we've just been beat. I think, listen, it's a great achievement for him, and he does come up in occasions for us with these goals, and he's obviously scored a load in Europe. He scored big goals against. I always remember scoring goals against Hibs. I don't know why, free kicks and stuff, but that free kick today was textbook. You don't save that. I mean, Andy Walker tried to say something about Joe Hart's position, mate. Aye. You could have 2 goals in there, because after the plan goes down like that, you don't save them. No. So that's and the one at the back stick. Really, he should have had a hat trick, because literally 2 minutes later, he breaks his neck to get to the back stick, comes over, and I'm thinking, just go across the goalie. And he tries to put it in near post, and it goes wide. So he could have had a hat trick, really.
No, but that's the frustrating thing, James, because Joe Hart is a goalkeeper who will give you a couple of goals. He's don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic shot stopper, Joe Hart, right? And his reactions are brilliant, right, as a goalkeeper. But he's always going to give you chances. He's always going to give you opportunities to put the ball in the net. Couldn't do anything about that. But I just don't think we tested him enough. I think you test Joe Hart more often than not, he will give you a goal.
Aye, no, definitely, because he seems to be one of the keepers that panics when you put pressure on the guy. He seems to, as if he's like Starfelt. You put pressure on Starfelt, and Starfelt just folds. You seen that today. The guy was all over the place when we pushed up onto their back line. They were making mistakes. Not just Starfelt, but the whole lot of them were all making mistakes. But Joe Hart he has got a highwayman to maybe give you a chance to get two or three chances during the game.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating we don't take advantage of that, Robert. One thing I did notice today was, and I don't know if you can tell me why, right? And maybe there's a really simple reason for this, and I'm just stupid and can't see it, right? Well, actually, 2 points. Every single time we had the ball at the back, they were pressing, right? And we had to try and either find a smart way out or rush the ball out. Whenever they had the ball at the back, no pressure. We let them have the ball. And they also had so much space in the middle of the park. How did they do it? How did we not combat that?
Well, it's probably a better question for somebody that's more tactically minded. But for me, I kind of felt like early on it was not a full on press, but we were sort of pushing them a wee bit, and they were getting the ball away quite regular early doors, which is no like them, according to the commentary. So I just kind of felt we didn't jump on that. When we won it back, we weren't doing too much weight. We were getting up the park, and then we were losing it back. So maybe it's just a training thing, how they train, how long they've been together, how long they've been under that manager. You'd like to think it'll come for us, but still, you know, how many months are we in now with Michael Beale? 4 months, 5 months, something like that. And I still don't see what our strength is in terms of a style of play. Like I don't see it. It's difficult, and he promised us a style of play. So I'm hoping that we need to get. I'm sort of digressing a wee bit. We need to get business done early in terms of who's coming in, and then they all have a pre-season together to try and build on something for next season. Because what we're watching at the minute is just disheartening, and it's no going anywhere. Like, do you know what I mean? And you're saying there as well, like, players need to go and this, that, and the other. If players do need to go, then you're going to need to make massive changes. So it's important you get it all done nice and early, and then you can build on a style of play. I just don't see it at the minute, and that's what my question. Celtic seem to have a style of play that works for them time and time again, especially at home. They'll always have that space on the ball, and they'll always press.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Can I just say, I seen a comment there, and somebody said, if you're not going to put my comment up, I'm going to unsubscribe. I'm not paying to make your channel better. See, when people put in a paid comment, it flashes up, it highlights. I've got 660 odd people watching this with comments flying left, right, and centre. See, if I don't put your comment up and you want to unsubscribe. Makes no difference to me. Makes no difference to me whatsoever if you want to unsubscribe. If I see comments and I like them, I will pull them up. But I've got comments going like that. So how am I supposed to see each and every person's individual comments? See, if you don't like it, go away. No interested in you. Go away. James, is there anything else that Michael Beale could have done today? Is there anything? Could he have changed it earlier? Could he have done anything different?
I don't know, mate. Because
the reason I ask, James, right, is they always seem to be more proactive than us, whether they're winning, losing, or drawing. Ange always seems to get his subs in first.
I think that's because their bench is stronger than ours. You look at our bench and you're thinking, because we kind of spoke about this last night, who would come off the bench to change it, and I can't get into my head that we're chasing a goal and he brings on Lundstrom when you've got Scott Arfield, one of the best in the business at breaking his neck to get into the box for us. That's the sub that I would have brought on. I'd have went, well, do you know what? See, if we're getting beat, I'm going down fighting. I'll bring Arfield on. If you want, take Jack off. I still don't. I can't get in my head why he took Ryan Jack off, but that's obviously by the by. If you're going to do that, that's obviously fine. But bring on somebody that's going to change it. Don't go like for like. I can't go this. But to obviously answer your question, I think it's because they seem to have players on the bench that will change the game. You know what I mean? Either starts Jota or trying to think of their other winger.
It's normally a Bader or something in it, but he was injured today.
He's obviously got that Habanovic or whatever his name is.
Habanovic.
Him on the bench, so they can make swaps, but their players seem to be when they come on and make a difference.
They can. Can I just say, Curry, I'm not sensitive. I'm just in a bad mood. I'm just in a bad mood.
It was the hand gesture.
I know. I don't know what that was all about, man. What the hand royally?
Get away.
Oh, I know. But that is to the point. I know that was awfully entitled of me, wasn't it? I do apologise. It genuinely seems to be, Robert, that Ange always makes the first move. We never, even if it was under Gio or it's under Beale, we never seem to make the first move. And also, our bench today wasn't the strongest.
No, and do you know what? That's one thing I do miss about Gerrard. I think Gerrard was a bit more decisive in terms of let's see if the game wasn't going his way, he would make a change and he would try to win the game. Whereas Michael Beale's also he's sitting there waiting to see what happens before he makes a change, kind of thing. And it's definitely not working. Like, obviously, I know we get a late goal, what have you, but the players that come on, did they really do anything? I mean, Sakala gets caught offside late on. I don't.
Born offside.
Lundstrom came on, he shoved Turnbull about for a wee minute and thought he was a hard man.
They changes, albeit Robert with like a couple of minutes to go or whatever, they changes just killed it, didn't they?
Aye. I mean, Cholak must be just thinking, what's going on? What is going on? Because he, 6 months ago, he was the best thing since sliced bread, and now he's getting 5 minutes at the end of an Old Firm game when you're getting beat. Like,
and he's been brought on with Scott Wright and John Lundstrom.
Scott Wright. You know that the game's gone when Scott Wright's coming on, right?
Right.
Right. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, there's too many players. Like, just to go back on what James said, I know this is a Rangers podcast, but you do look at Celtic's squad in terms of man for man. They do have, I would say, the better options. And I know, like, I'm not saying they're miles ahead of us, but they just seem to be more prepared when it comes to recruitment at the minute. And we were really good at recruitment.
They're better.
They are. And our recruitment's really, really struggling at the minute. And I don't think it was like that a couple of years ago. And this season more than ever, like, we've got a massive job on our hands. The manager's got a massive job on his hands. So you need to get it right, and you need to get it right early. Because see, if you don't, you're going to be in the back foot, and you can't. Let's just say worst case scenario, we don't win the Scottish Cup and we don't beat them at Ibrox. Right? Worst case scenario, devil's advocate. That heads are going to be down all summer. Celtic's tails are going to be up. They'll be planning players coming in already. They'll know who's going out. They'll know who's coming in to replace that guy. Whereas we'll just be, I feel, scratching about trying to get boys for here, there, and everywhere. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's the feeling I get. I don't feel that we're preparing well enough in terms of getting bodies in.
Malik Tillman, James. Again, in an Old Firm game, flattered to deceive. Is it just a case that he won't be good enough for Old Firm games, or is it just a case that he's got to learn that you don't get 5 minutes on the ball? You need to, and you can't wait for the ball to come to you. Is that something that you think he can learn, or do you think now we have to have a serious discussion? And this might be completely reactive after a defeat, right? And please tell me if it is. But like Robert Gibson says, Tillman did nothing. I did see a few things on social media. People were saying that, they were stopping passing channels, they were doing this and they were doing that. But you're judged about what you do on the ball. And he made one good run, I think it was, in the first half. But apart from that, again, done nothing.
He was anonymous again for me. And I think the thing that sums it up for me was that Aaron Moy was out sprinting him. And you're thinking, that guy looks as if he's been on the fry-ups.
And Aaron Moy was horrible, terrible today.
Aye, and you're thinking, how is he out sprinting you for a ball? You're 20 years of age. You look as if you're in prime condition. And then you've got another one that run about, man, looking like the poles of the dough ball. You know what I mean? Just looking as if he's just... as I said last night, I'm still 50-50 on Tillman. I know a lot of folk, as I said, will come back with stats and all that, him and Aribo and what have you. But for me, you're coming to Rangers to beat Celtic. It's all right scoring your goals against Dundee United, Hibs, Mirren, whatever, and that's all good. We still need to beat the teams as well. But for me, you've got to do it against Celtic. It's as simple as that. That's how you make your name.
See if you're going to be happy with just guys that can do it against the rest, then you just keep Lowry and don't spend the $6 million. Lowry will be able to do that. No bother.
You just go and buy your players for your
I just think that both Tillman and Kent, the measure of their display today was Alistair Johnston come off that part thinking, that was all right, that was easy.
It was easy.
I think he shut up.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not good enough.
Do you think, Robert, that this game today will ask more questions rather than give you more definitive answers on Tillman for some people? Or do you think there'll be a lot of people still in the camp of, listen, shut up, guys. Tillman's going to make us a lot of money. He's a fantastic player. He's just talking nonsense. See that sentence, Tillman's going to make us a lot of money. Oh, Ryan Kent was going to make us a lot of money, didn't he? So I think that's nonsense. I hate that. Like, I get that we've got to sell players to make money. That's fine. But my main concern is I want somebody in that's going to win us some trophies. And I just think, like I think he's a luxury player. And when you roll your sleeves up and you need some dig, he's not got it.
He's not, and I just think he's no good. And I'm not just saying that as a fitter player. You look at him in interviews and that, he's a shy wee boy. I think as a person,
he's a big boy. He's a big boy.
You know what I mean? He's 20-year-old. I'm 37. I'm calling him a wee boy. He's a shy wee boy, and I just don't think he's got it in him to have that. What you need in Scotland is, you know, when the chips are down, you need to drag players with you. I don't think he does it.
I think he's the same kind of mould as that Josh Windass, and I'm no comparing them in the thing with. I think Windass had all the ability in the world, but he had the heart of a mouse boy. And that's the thing, he went missing when, as you said, mate, being in the trenches, you need somebody there to obviously be there fighting for you.
Well, RFC 56, James is asking, people were happy with Morelos' record versus separate entity. Why so much hate for 20-year-old Tillman? I don't think it's hate, James. I think it's just pointing out that another Old Firm game has passed where he hasn't exactly impressed.
Right, that's it. I don't hate the boy. I don't hate any Rangers player. Do you know what I mean? We all want them to succeed. We want them to do well. We'd rather be sitting here saying, "Oh, Tillman, what a game he had, man! 2 great goals or whatever." Or he's put a shift in for the team and he done X, Y, and Z. He was obviously hooked after however long it was. I can't remember. Was it half time? I can't even remember because I don't even remember him touching the ball in the second half. So.
Tillman was at 70 minutes or something. I think.
Or was it? Well, there you go, mate. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know when he was obviously hooked. So,
do you know? At one point, Ryan Kent touched the ball, and I turned into my missus, and I went, "Oh, Ryan Kent's playing." I completely forgot that Ryan Kent was on the park. So, Robert, what's the takeaway then for this game? What do we look at? Is there any positives that we can take out of this going forward?
Well, I'd like to think that we can build on Nico Raskin. He's somebody to be building your team around. Obviously, the Tavernier's goal scoring record, which we'll talk about another day.
Tomorrow night, live on Patreon.
There we go. I don't think there's loads of positives. I think there's as I say, more questions than answers. Manager, I don't know if he's in the day after more or what. I don't know how it works, but they'll be in.
Oh, they must be.
They'll be in. So I just think he needs to dissect that, and not even just like the errors. That's fair enough, but like you say, things like Tillman's performance and Kent's performance, they need maybe sat down and spoken to, and just a real plan really, because I just don't see a style of play phase, and that really concerns me, because you're going to need to have a style of play if you're going to be successful. All the best teams have one. Somebody, I think it was Graham, said in the comments, we just adapt our play to whoever we play that week. And you can't do that. Can't do it.
No, you can't. James, takeaways for the game?
Obviously shows now what Bill's got today, or he's got to work with. This is a chance for us now to maybe start bringing some of the younger boys in, boys that maybe get the hunger, the fight for it, want to show what they can do. I'd definitely be giving McCrory a start now. I don't know what you guys think. I think now it's a chance to maybe see what this boy's all about. If you can't play at Rangers without any pressure on you, then you'll never make it at Rangers. So there's no pressure on them now. Obviously, I know we've still got the Scottish Cup semi-final to come up. But for me, it's for what Bill's got to work with now and what Bill's got to do.
Is there an argument, Robert, to say that we were told how far behind Celtic we were throughout Gio's time and when Michael Beale came in? Is there an argument to say that after the game at Ibrox, not so much the cup game, but the game at Ibrox and this game at their place, that we're not actually as far behind them as what a lot of people said we were? Or do you think there still has to be a significant amount of change?
Well, you've just said, I'm going to say yes and no, because you've just said at the start of the podcast you weren't auditioning that.
But that's my opinion. I'm asking yours.
No, but I'm saying I agree with that, because there's going to be a massive turnover in the summer. So I don't think we can. We just need to get to the end of the season with whatever we can get, and then hopefully with a better squad of players, a freshness in the squad, a style of play, we can then go and attack next season on all fronts. I just think because their squad's going to change in the summer as well. I think they're going to lose 2 or 3 players of the bigger players as well. So we'll see a change. But I don't, just on today, no, I don't think we are a million miles away. I think majority of that 60,000 crowd today would have walked in thinking we're going to take 4 or 5 halfies a day. I mean, the silence when Tavernier makes it 1 each was lovely. I did enjoy that, I must admit. So, and even when they were doing the Poznan and he's made it 3-2, I think they were thinking that wasn't in the script. So I don't think we are a million miles away in terms of catching them or beating them. It's just we're getting into a wee bit of an issue here with this squad and this fixture in terms of mental scarring. Like if we're turning up to Celtic Park now, that's what 3 in the bounce. We've not won 4 in the bounce. So that needs to be rectified quickly, or else it becomes an issue, doesn't it?
It does.
Right. It was the same for us with Gerrard, because obviously Gerrard went on that run where he was beating them all the time, and we seem to have that psychological thing over them that they knew turning up they weren't going to beat us, and I think it's new swung the other way.
Andrew Cleveland says it. They do. Celtic have our number right now, and they absolutely do. And you know how good it felt when we had their number, because you just knew going into every game that even if they scored a goal, we're going to come back, we're going to win, we're going to beat them. We always do.
The biggest difference, sorry, Martin, just to finish that off, is they take their chances and we don't.
Yeah.
You can't. You're never going to win any game of football if you don't take your chances, and the opposition need 2 shots and put them away. That's the biggest difference. They've got a penalty box striker who's got brilliant movement and puts the ball away 9 times out of 10. We don't.
Bill King's asking, would you take Gerrard back? No.
No, we can't keep changing managers either. That's not the answer. Like we're not that kind of football club.
No,
like,
Bill's building something. Bill's and I've got 100%. I've got 100% full trust in Bill. He's building something here, and I think with the right recruitment, I think he'll be an absolute hit at Rangers. So yeah,
he's a transfer one day to try and work his magic, and you need to give him a couple. We can't just sack managers all the time.
No, Rangers don't do that. We've never really done that throughout our history. We don't just sack managers. But that'll do us for the day. If you want more access to more content, then consider joining the Rabble Patreon. The link for that is in the description. We 7 or 8 shows a week extra on top of what you get on YouTube. Not the day that we all wanted. Please like and subscribe as well. If you haven't already, give the show a wee like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a follow on social media. All the links for our socials are in the description as well. So we'll finish up there. Thank you everybody in the comments. Thank you everybody who gave in super chats as well. Apologies to those whose comments I couldn't get to. We did have quite a lot to go through. So if you're upset or annoyed at the fact I didn't bring your comment up on screen, then I deeply, deeply apologise.
And Curry, I love you, mate. I love you, Curry. Love you loads. All right, keep commenting. Don't leave us. We love you.
Well, he's not happy. But he's not feeling. So that's good.
That's rank rotten. That's rank rotten.
Hey, it's one of his better comments, right? It's one of his better comments. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you everybody in the comments. Robert, James, thank you very much for coming on. Obviously these shows are horrible to do, right? When you've just
they're not good.
They're absolutely horrible to do. But I appreciate everybody in the comments, everybody watching. You two guys for coming on. We'll be back tomorrow night over on Patreon, and then we're back on Monday night on YouTube, where we will probably dissect this game a bit more as well. So thank you everybody for watching, and we shall speak to you all very, very soon.